listen.
Yeah, this movie probably will offend people.
But of course, after you wrap something like that, you're like, are we gonna be okay?
It's definitely an inappropriate comedy. It's R-rated. It earns its R.
That was kind of my next question. Was there ever a time where it was like, okay, this is really funny, but can we do this?
There probably should have been somebody like that on set, but there wasn't.
We filmed like an NC-17, like we filmed like an unacceptable movie that then was turned into, like, brought down into R.
So raunchy comedies are back in full swing and back with their budgets equaling 40 mil. And 2023 has a lot of comedies on the horizon, with even all the dogs out there getting some representation. Asians, Latinos, the plastics. Hell, you can even say that this one already had a future sequel with You Hurt My Feelings, but No Hard Feelings has J-Law on her DiCaprio run.
Academy Award winner Jennifer Lawrence
Hi.
delivers her most touching performance yet.
Mind if I touch your wiener?
What?
Your dog.
Let me explain. So this one comes from the guy who wrote The Office and even has a new hit show, Jury Duty, that everyone's going crazy for. But he also did one of my favorites, Good Boys. But of course, he stays in his bad teacher bag with this one.
I'll tell you what I know. A kid who wears the same gymnastics sweatshirt 3 days a week isn't getting laid until he's 29. That's what I know.
The sweatshirt was my dad's. It's all he left me when he left me.
There's a reason he didn't pack it.
It's supposedly based on a real-life Craigslist ad where a family was actually asking a woman in her 20s to help their shy kid come out of his shell before college.
A Long Island iced tea for me and...
Pepsi, please.
We only have Coke.
Oh. Do you want to go somewhere else?
Lawrence plays Maddie, who's in Arrested Development, but should be arrested for developing the most belligerent relationships with everyone around her. Right off the bat, we see her getting repossessed faster than a franchise star who hasn't found another. And the tow guy is even her ex, played by Cousin, who's now been left for her other
second cousin.
Now she has to roller derby to work, where she tries to snatch her car back, but forgets it's on more wires than an X-Men set. And now she's stuck in limbo, with the worry being that she's gonna lose the house if she doesn't make the payments. It's also a vacation destination, meaning the rent might go up, but she doesn't want to rent it out to vacationers because she respects herself too much. So instead she picks this ad where she rents her body out for a Buick. Her friends recommend starting an OnlyFans, which I think could do numbers just off leaks, but considering that the IRS is sending her more letters than the alphabet, she decides to go visit this rich family to play with their son's winter bone.
I'm slightly older.
Right. How old?
I just turned 29.
Recently?
Last year.
And how old are you, like, right now?
1 more year older.
So 30.
Yeah. 32.
After Katniss falls up the stairs, she realizes that these two are way worse than any of the other vacationers because they actually moved in, and their son is way harder to crack because this boy's wearing anime PFPs on himself. It's also crazy to think that Broderick is paying her with a Buick in order to give his son a better life, which is pretty low considering he paid $175 for 2. Now I know that to a lot of people this is like licorice pizza by the way of Judd Apatow, but really it's just her flipping the age gap from her Oscars win. I did think it was goofy that people were like trying to be very moralistic with this movie, even though it would kill in the early 2000s, because they were going as far as calling the kid autistic just because he was socially awkward. I don't know when Twitter went from censoring the R word to taking autism quizzes whenever they feel a fumble, but y'all pretty much just swapped it out. Overall, they're not supposed to be role models. They're supposed to be losers.
So we're not trying to tell you anything, really, you know?
Except
like,
maybe what not to do.
yeah, don't do the stuff that these characters do.
She goes to pick him up in her pedo van by visiting him at the adoption shelter where he volunteers at.
You can finish alone, right? Bet you do it all the time.
After macing her faster than Windu, they settle on a date at their local bar where we see more of her exes who've been hustled off her playbook, but it's Feldman's reactions to like everything around him that get me.
That doesn't matter here.
Well, I think it's a federal law.
Their feelings catch fire, and she's able to convince him to go skinny dipping, where a bunch of teens decide to steal their clothes, and that leads to Lawrence fighting better than her Mystique days and is completely naked, and she is fine at acting. They run up the budget with this reverse car chase where he's already caught her, but he just hasn't gotten his phone, and so they go from skinny dipping to skinny speeding in order to evade the cops. Back home, he reveals his super anxious red rash alongside the backstory for why he's so awkward, since he was always bullied after all the nasty rumors at school of him sleeping with his parents till he was 9 and really being a mama's boy. And now he's hanging out with Mother. Maddie then opens up about being an affair baby whose dad found joy with her mom while on vacation, but then went back to the city with his real family, and that's why she's so attached to the house since it's the only thing the lawyer left them, alongside all the return letters that she wrote to her pops, staying at that house since it's the only address he'd be able to find her at, and she's still holding out hope. Damn. Now she's with a real man?
What is my favorite musical?
Oh, God.
Say it.
Rent.
No, it's Seussical.
What is that?
Seussical is the musical collection of Dr. Seuss's stories.
After a hanging out montage and some finger traps, she meets his previous nanny, played by Brigsby Bear, and he's so overprotective of the kid to the point that he pressures her worse than an SNL writer. On top of that, Hasan makes a cameo as a previous classmate who slept with his teacher and is now a real estate agent who's trying to offer a price on her place. And I'll just say that it's way better inserting his scene than it was the gay politician sequence in Licorice Pizza. After realizing that neither of them went to prom, Percy takes Maddie out to a nice restaurant where she pressures him to play the song Maneater, which he thinks is about a monster when it's really just the themes of the movie. And this boy really composed the song himself for the movie, and even took it on tour for the press run with a little tiny piano.
She'll only come out at night. Oh yeah.
One of Percy Jackson's friends sees him at the restaurant and invites him over to a party where Maddie's getting insulted for being 23 by 25-year-olds who are spewing ageist jokes at her because they think she's homophobic.
You don't belong here.
You don't belong at a high school party, miss.
Oh, well.
After finding out that Percy makes some vermouth with an Addie, she chokes him out only to get punched out.
Stay.
She escapes sounding like Lupita and Us, yet is considerate enough to not have sex with him at that moment because he's too drunk and can't give consent. And she only wants to dupe him when he's sober. Eventually, through some Bluetooth shenanigans, Percy finds out about his parents' entire scheme while he's in the Tesla and is ready to get back at them.
I can make my own decisions.
That's good.
You want to savor it. Savor it.
He invites all of them over for dinner where he says he doesn't want to go to college anymore. And it was crazy to find out that the actual actor was supposed to go to school before getting cast in this role.
I believe you said, Andrew, I'm so sorry you're not going to be able to go back to Harvard this semester.
Yes. Because he put going to Harvard on hold to shoot this movie. How Percy is that, huh?
Through a crazy turn of events, written by the screenwriter, they eventually go upstairs to his room with Maddie not realizing that he already smashed her Buick in the woods, but after failing to launch, he ends up going stick shift on her thigh.
You know, my favorite fact about that scene is that it's based off of Gene, the writer and director, his real life. That is actually how he lost his virginity. Or thought he lost his virginity.
After a pretty decent scene where they call each other out for their rich, bad daddies that they blame everything on but themselves, they go their separate ways, with Percy going to Princeton and Maddie finally burning her dad's letters as she fixes her car after Ubering all season. And they must have been filming on the off season because it is always raining in the background. After going on dates where dudes pull a dick move, she flips her house for sale but gives it to her friends who are about to move. And also before Brigsby tries to raise the taxes. But these two are always ungrateful throughout the entire movie.
Does say early to mid-20s, though.
That's okay. I can pass for that.
Okay.
In the end, she reverses the roles as she drives to Princeton to demand an apology and somehow mends their relationship faster than her fender, as she proves that even after winning an Oscar, it's still the Hunger Games out there.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
Thank you all for watching this video, and a big thanks to this video's sponsor, Brilliant. Say you want to be smarter than all these indie movie characters by solving all the problems that come your way, then head over to Brilliant.org to find the most interactive way to do it. See, as jobs keep evolving alongside tech, it becomes harder and harder to keep up to date with all the latest key concepts, and this platform gives you the most convenient way to be in the know since it's made by busy people for busy people. You don't need to spend a whole college tuition to gain knowledge, just 15 minutes a day on any device to help take your skills to the next level. They have courses on AI and neural networks, which for a content creator is important since YouTube runs on it for recommendations. So does Netflix, Shorts, and a bunch of other algorithms. And really any business in today's day and age needs someone who can keep them in the loop. Every course builds on how far you've come in order to take you to the next level, with helpful hints if you ever get stuck, and a bunch of new courses added monthly. Because it's not just about learning, but what learning does for you and how it makes you feel. So achieve your goals and be smarter than AI by staying ahead of the curve with Brilliant. If you click the link in the description, you'll be able to unlock everything they have to offer for 30 days free. And for the first 200 listeners, you'll also get 20% off Brilliant's annual premium subscription. So try some Brilliant today and keep your brain at bay. Other than that, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section on this comedy or any other ones that are coming out. I know the budget seemed pretty big, but if you look back in like the 90s and the 2000s, the budgets used to be a lot bigger, but like no one takes risks anymore with these going into theaters, and you know, when it comes to streaming, no one's spending the money for that. So I think that's another reason why comedies haven't like lasted as long as they used to, because it was several reasons, but also the budget's just being cut. But I think that there is a way to look at this, kind of like The Graduate. I know that was a big inspiration for them, and I'm very curious to see what Jennifer Lawrence is going to do now, because I had made videos a long time ago calling out a lot of stuff with her, specifically with the roles and how they were approached. Then she fired her entire management team, and now she's doing a new leaf. So I know that a lot of people have been clowning her about her taking a movie like this, but I hope that she's able to take a lot better roles now that she's on the other side of a bunch of other things. So I'm curious to know your thoughts on this movie, on any others. And until next time, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and JLo will swipe right.
Oh, here she comes. She's a man-eater.